All right, here we go. We're going to go on an interview with our favorite news reporter, Dave Bondy.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I am going to also be going live on my fan page. It's Dave Bondy, D-A-V-E-B-O-N-D-Y. It's pretty simple. Follow me there and let me hook this up and press the live button. So we are, hold on here. I'm working with the technology. I'm working from home, by the way, Garrett. So I'm trying to be an engineer at the same time I'm doing everything. So I'm learning how to be an engineer as well.
The world we live in right now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we are. I do have your permission to record, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, always have to ask that just to be sure. Always keeping things on the up and up. Okay, go live. Okay, so we are live on my fan page, and I'm going to be posting this video later on the station page. But we want to talk about the repeal. Is it Repeal 1947? Of the governor's emergency powers.
The 1945 law.
1945. I'm sorry, I was off 2 years.
Yeah.
So explain a little bit why this is so important, this law. Why is this at the crux of almost everything we hear about when it comes to her emergency powers?
So this law allows her to continue to enact the emergency orders without legislators' approval and working with them. So that's why over the past several months, she just continues to extend it off the 1945 law and basically have dictator powers. And no governor, regardless of political affiliation, should ever have that amount of power. And so once we get our petition drive done, the legislators will vote on this, and then it's done. There's no veto power. So it doesn't go to a ballot. It's not to the popular vote. We don't have to wait for the November election. This can all literally be done in the next 2 to 3 months if we get those signatures.
Oh, I had no idea. So I thought this, usually when you hear about a recall and a petition drive, it then goes to a vote. That's not the case.
No, and there's many petitions out there right now. There's the recall petition, there's the constitutional amendment petition, and these are all signature based, and they want to get it on the ballot. And that's fine and dandy, but we wanted to get something done now. There's one thing that most of us out there in Michigan, we don't want to wait around. You know, we want something to stop this tyranny, to stop this insanity right now. And that's one of the things that we talked about even before when I first started the Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine. We had 3 objectives, and I talked about this on my interview this morning. Is number 1, we wanted to get our sacred values, our citizens' rights, our constitutional freedoms back. Number 2 was to get us back to work. And when we finally got back to work, I actually did a video, and I told everybody, I say, hey, look, this is not the end. We're getting back to work. People are starting to get back to their normal lives. But I knew it was going to happen because the governor's narrative kept changing throughout this process. In the beginning, it was to flatten the curve, right? That's all we heard about. We had to flatten the curve, to flatten the curve. Even though she never released the hospital data, we started to hear, and we talked about this, Dave, like with the hospitals closings, people getting laid off. So we flattened the curve within the first 2 weeks. But then she evolved the conversation from flattening the curve to cases and deaths, cases and deaths. They kept going up. And now after over the next couple months, it's only evolved to cases. And what's happening right now, which we're all well aware of, is they're testing everybody. And the more people you test, guess what? The more cases you have. But they're not talking about the amount of deaths that is continually to decline. And so what she's doing is what she did last week, right before the 4th of July. She shut down the bars again, at least halfway. They let them eat outside, but you can't go inside. So what is her rationale thinking with doing that, especially with all the deaths going down? And so she continues to just rule unilaterally, which is why we're going towards or forward, this Repeal 1945 to get this done. So this can't happen anymore.
I want to put her side out there. I asked her spokesperson for a comment, and they referred me to the Michigan Democratic Party, but basically has said before when these challenges have come up that you're putting the public in danger by either questioning or removing her powers, because she says she's using science and experts and doctors and that by messing with her powers that you're in turn hurting the public. Well, how do you respond to that?
If that's not tyranny 101, then I don't know what is. Let's just revisit what you just said. She's basically telling the legislators, the elected officials in the House and the Senate, that they are not able to make good decisions and critical decisions in regarding this pandemic and regarding of other things. Because the whole point of the Emergency Act, as I get it, is for times of flood, like the Midland flood, the Flint water crisis, that you enact this emergency order to get federal funding, right? To get the solution solved. This is not made to continue to extend every 20 days, get another month, get another month, get another month, to have unilateral control and just continue to base all your decisions. And let's back up right now, because I'm going to shoot down a narrative. This is the part of my job that I enjoy, Dave, when we talk about the science and data, okay? Because if you take the science...
So it's not that you don't believe the science, or is there something else at play?
The science and the data is out there, because she's saying she's basing her decision-making off the science and the data. And they've said that from the very get-go. So if we start to analyze all of her decision-making process right from the beginning, according to the science and data, we had to flatten the curve. Okay, the data start coming out that all the hospitalizations were going down. They weren't overwhelmed. She didn't give us any of that data. We had to look it up. So according to the science and data, the emergency was done. We achieved our first objective. We flattened the curve. But then she starts scaring everybody and talking about cases and deaths, cases and deaths. So that's when she started to bring her tyrannical hammer down. And so if we look at the science and data, where is the science and data that supports her decision of saying that, hey, you can go in a kayak, but you can't go in a motorboat? And you can go to small hardware stores and buy paint and mulch, but you can't go to Myers and Walmart to buy paint and mulch. So those are the things that what they say, like, let's go back and let's analyze all your decision making according to your science and data. Let's shut down the lower half of Michigan, right? We'll let the UP and Traverse City area open up, even though Ohio and Indiana were open up, right? Where's the science and data to support it? Does COVID just not jump the border? So when they get that argument about going towards the science and data, all I sit back and laugh. Because if you really want to pull that argument, hey, let's analyze it. Let's look at it. Because it's going to basically shoot down her entire narrative, because that's all she's talking about now is cases. Where's the deaths? We should be celebrating right now that this pandemic is over, right? That it's slowly going away. Yes, we're testing more. There's more infections, but more and more people are recovering. Less and less people are dying. But we're not hearing that. We're not hearing that at all.
And I've been reading some of the comments on your page, on others, and they're saying... Some people accuse you of believing COVID isn't real. That's not, what I'm hearing from you, that's not the case. You believe COVID is real.
It's very real. 100%. I'm not discounting any of that. And if you go all the way back from when I first started Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine, we believed, we didn't know if this virus had teeth or not. Nobody did. We know that it's real. We know, unfortunately, there's been a lot of Michiganders and a lot of Americans that have died, but under half of them have been in nursing homes? So if you start to look at the data and you start to see who's really compromised, and the data continues to support this, it's elderly people with underlying medical conditions, right? 3 or more underlying medical conditions. So if that's the case, if those are the people that are unfortunately dying, and it's very real, so doesn't it make sense that we quarantine them, that we make sure that they're safe, and we don't shut down our entire economy? Because we've always said from the very get-go, Dave, that this solution can't be bigger than what's going to happen from all these unilateral decisions that she's been making, because Michigan is hurting. The businesses, the hundreds, if not thousands of businesses that went out of business because of these decision-making, not based on any science and data.
And sorry if you hear the dog working in the background. Now, someone's just ripping on me online, and I'm all about getting the facts out, and a lot of people, say that you're against our state, you're against the health of the people. But let me ask about your followers. Do you have just Republicans in your group, or what's your makeup of people who belong to the Stand Up Michigan?
We've always said this from the beginning. We are a positive, bipartisan, nonviolent movement. We do not care what party affiliation that you support. Now, look, the far left, they're not going to like us. They're not going to like us at all, because we're standing up for what? The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And we support our police officers, right? They're not going to like that narrative. So the far left, they're not going to like us. But here's what happens, and here's what's happened since the beginning, is the more people watch us, the more people that understand what type of movement that we are, that we're just going to give you up-to-date, accurate, bipartisan information to make your own decisions, your common sense decisions, then more and more people from the middle are actually coming over. We're starting to attract the old school Democrats, as we say, the old JFKs of the world. Because if you look at JFK, he would be considered a conservative today, wouldn't he? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Holy cow, can you imagine a Democrat saying those words right now?
Let me ask you real quick. Explain, this is technically, if this, so let's say you need, how many signatures?
360,000 in the next 180 days.
Okay, you get the signatures, and the next step is then what?
The legislators vote on it. And you got to think of what the legislators right now. She's basically handcuffed, Democrat and Republican, that they don't matter. It's all about me, basically, is what the governor's saying, is she's going to make those decisions.
This petition, it's literally about that act. The petition isn't saying stop the shutdown, stop the schools. You basically want to put it in the hands of the House and the Senate, and the lawmakers. That's what it's about.
100% correct. It's to work together. That's why we said, like, look, when we do this 45 law, there is going to be a Republican governor down the road. And guess what? They're not going to be able to do the same thing that she's doing. Our government is set up with checks and balances. We can't have
this isn't about not saying nursing homes. It's about having the houses come together. Like, there's other states, I believe, correct, where the governor doesn't have as broad emergency powers. Or let me ask you, I believe I read this, maybe North Carolina, I forget what state it was, but they do have to come together, lawmakers in the state.
Correct. Michigan is one of the few that I think, I don't know that for sure, but I know it's one of the few that the governor is basically, because of this 1945 law, is having all of this power. We want them to work together. And we're not against, people working together, because there's some states right now that they're masking up in those counties. In the mask situation, who knows what's right or wrong. We're never going to know the solution to this thing until several years down the road when they analyze all the data. Nobody knows for sure.
Did the same thing just happen in Wisconsin? Is this what we're talking about? Is it similar to Wisconsin?
Nope. The Supreme Court basically, no, in Illinois, I think you said. This happened in Wisconsin and Illinois. The Supreme Court, I think if they rule in favor of the legislators, I think it undoes everything that the governor did. There will be no more unilateral control. There's no more state of emergency. Basically, Illinois opens up. In Wisconsin, that did happen, where the Supreme Court overruled.
You have 180 days, and then someone has to, I assume, validate the signatures probably?
Yep. They validate all the signatures, and they make sure they're all good, and then it goes forward with the legislators. So there's a whole process. And here's the great thing is my other co-founder, Ron Armstrong, is actually going to go live on our Facebook page at Stand Up Michigan tonight at 7 o'clock to really get into the details of the whole process of what exactly has to happen, how you get involved with this. I mean, he's going to break it down.
Okay. Okay, and I mean, that could happen if this goes to the lawmakers. It could be October, November, December. So you're not just thinking about this pandemic. This is for Michigan, period. 20, 30 years down the road.
You got it. They need to work together. They need to work together.
For those of you, who's saying I'm not hitting you hard enough, but
hit me harder, Dave. I'll take it.
The governor's saying you're endangering lives by taking this away. Some people are, no matter what you say, they're going to say you're hurting people's lives by doing this. I guess some people, you probably can't. You can't convince. You can't.
They're really truly believe that we're going to have to stay shelter in place for the rest of our lives. And so here's the scheme of things. Like, look, every virus, if you look at the data, it has a peak around March and April. It goes up, and then by summer it all goes down. It's just a natural process.
Can I ask you something? I don't know if you'd be comfortable answering, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you supportive of masks? Some people say, I wear a mask because I feel it's healthy. Others say it's respectful to do so.
So here's the thing with mask wearing is, number one, if you want to wear a mask, I'm okay with it. If you want to roll around town, but don't judge people that wear a mask and don't judge people who don't wear a mask, because you don't understand the other person's position. If somebody has a mask on, they may be immunocompromised and they're just trying to protect themselves. Or if somebody doesn't have a mask, they may be claustrophobic, they may have asthma, they may have a cardiovascular problem. Here's what I am not for, is masking our children all day at school. Because there's no medical research and no scientific research that's ever been done on long-term studies of kids being in masks for 8 hours a day. And so one thing's for sure is I am not going to be the guinea pig of that, and my children are not going to be the guinea pig of that.
And that's a whole other Facebook Live and story I'm going to get into, because stay-at-home schooling and others we're hearing about from a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so one question before I go. I know it's getting quick. I got to do the news here coming up soon. How do people, if they want to sign this, how do they get involved? And I'm not saying this because I support you at all or what you're doing. There's people that are asking if they would like to, what do they do? Okay, there's our Facebook group that we started called Stand Up Michigan, the Unlock Michigan. If you just write that in the search, it will come up. The other thing that you can do is actually go to the website. For those of the people that are not on Facebook, it's unlockmichigan.com/standupmichigan. That's how you can get involved with this. Do you think you can do it? I mean, that's a lot of valid signatures. Our goal is to get this done in 60 days. We have 180 days to get it done, but our movement and the power of the people are fired up right now, especially when the governor continues to take things away without, like you said, and what their little Democratic Party just said, it says we're putting people in danger. Then why, if we're doing that, why are the deaths continually go down? Everywhere, not just in the state of Michigan. Is there any legal, could there be any legal challenges in the meantime to this? You have lawyers, I'm assuming, look at this. Can Attorney General Nessel put a stop to this, or have you heard? I don't think they can. Not with this one. When you go to the ballot, the way I understand it, because I'm new to this game too, when you go to a ballot, there is a whole process that you have to do, border canvases and everything. I don't know any about that process on how that works. I think with the ballot, there's more opportunities. The one that we're currently announced, it has been approved by a board of canvassers. I think. Board of canvassers. Yes, so I think ours has a repeal 1945. I know Ron will go in this in more detail tonight, but I'm pretty sure that it has. And so basically, to let everybody know, we get the signatures, they get approved, it goes to the legislators, they vote, it's over. She cannot veto it. It's done. It's over. This law does not exist anymore. And no governor, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Independent, will never be able to unilaterally do this again. They have to work together. Then it will be in the hands of the lawmakers to decide. Absolutely. What happens. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm going to keep you on live so I can make sure I'm going to end the live right now. Also, I am on Dave Bondy on Facebook. You can follow me. Let me make sure I have too many buttons pulled up on my computer right here. Sorry about that. And I am going to be writing an article on our website and also putting the governor's statement and reaction on there as well. Okay, I ended that. I'm going to get going, get ready to get stuff on the news, but I really appreciate it. And like I said, I will be happy to interview the governor on camera about the same thing. So if she's ready to go on, I'll interview her as well. And I would love to hear her responses, Dave. I'm equal. I don't support you. I don't support her. I just want to get out information. Thanks for the opportunity to do just that, sir. Okay, I'm going to end the Zoom. Are we good? I'm good. I got my live. I got to talk to my people. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. All right, folks, here's another thing too. I just want to address something that happened on my first interview earlier after I got off with Justin Barkley on Wood 8 this morning. Somebody called in and said, hey, if this is about we the people, why are we collecting signatures to go in front of the legislators? That is a fair question. And I always told all of you, I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to be honest. And the answer to that is we all want something now. And we've told everybody from the very beginning what Stand Up Michigan was about. And even before that, the Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine, what we wanted to our end game was. We've talked about ever since the beginning was to repeal 1945. Now, I know that we the people goes on the ballot and then the population votes. But now they don't even have enough signatures, the constitutional amendment, until 2022. So are we willing to wait until 2022 to make sure that no governor does this again? Heck no. I don't, and I know that all of you don't. So this is the thing that we knew from the beginning that we could get through. We could get through, and that we are going to get through. After the repeal 1945 law, any other petition that they're doing that's going to go on the 2022 ballot, fantastic. That's awesome.
Let's do those things. Let's have those conversations. But to get something done right now so we don't have to do this. Do you imagine if we didn't? And this governor until 2022, so hopefully she gets not reelected, right? That she gets out, that we'd have to wait under the fear of her tyrannical rule for her to continue to do this throughout the winter, throughout the spring, throughout next year again. For 2 more years, we'd have to live in this tyrannical rule. I know all of you out there that are watching right now do not want that. That's why this Repeal 1945 law that's been our baby from the beginning is huge. Because whatever petition that other groups and movements that want to do, more power to them. Awesome. Collect the signatures. Get on the 2022 or 22 ballot and then allow the citizens of Michigan to vote on it. But for right now, to get something done to stop this insanity, to stop the unilateral control, to stop the tyranny, this is what we can do now. So I urge all of you, this is not a time for you to sit in the shadows anymore. This is a time for you to get involved. In the description of this page is our Stand Up Michigan, Unlock Michigan Facebook group link. Click on it, join it. That's where we're going to activate you. If you know people who are not on Facebook, a lot of people aren't. If you know people who are not, you can tell them to go to unlockmichigan.com/standupmichigan and they can fill out their information and that's how they can get involved. So again, that web address is unlockmichigan.com/standupmichigan. That's how they can get involved to get this Repeal 1945 law done. And it's funny to hear what the governor and her Democratic Party, their response to this is. They're obviously getting a little flustered, knowing that the end may be coming. The tyrannical rule may be ending soon because of what we're doing. So what are they doing now? They're putting fear out in the public that our movement, our organization is it's irresponsible to take away her powers. If that doesn't wake you up when an elected leader says those things, that it's irresponsible for you to take away my powers during times of a pandemic, who does she think she is? She's basically spitting in the face of all the House and the Senate representatives. Like, that's what she just did. That's what she just said. I don't want any elected official. I don't want any leader, and I put leader in quotes because leaders don't do that. Leaders work together. Leaders inspire. Leaders bring out the best in people. Leaders do not lead with force. Leaders do not continue to talk about, I have all the answers, because she doesn't. And guess what? I don't either. I don't either. That's why I surround myself with very smart, intelligent people. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. You want to have other people in that room, and you want to have other people in your inner circle be smarter than you so you can take everybody's opinions. That's what the whole purpose of government is having our House and our Senate and our governor work together. Not unilaterally. So it is go time now. And I told you, this is our Super Bowl event. This is our 4th quarter moment. We need to activate all of you to get involved. So make sure that you're joining our group. Stand Up Michigan to Unlock Michigan. Or if they want to go to the website, it's unlockmichigan.com/standupmichigan. Those are the 2 opportunities. Let's activate. Let's get this party started. And let's get this done. We can get the 360,000 signatures in 60 days. I believe that. And I'm going to live and breathe in this thing because I told you I wasn't going to quit until this is done. And this is our Super Bowl event. Ron will be on at 7 p.m. tonight on Stand Up Michigan on our Facebook page and talking about all the ins and outs of this petition, talking about the 1945 law. He knows this thing. This is his stuff. He knows it inside and out. He knows a whole heck of a lot more than I do. Okay? So make sure that you're tuning in at 7 and you're sharing. We have to share this. We have to get this out to the masses. We're already starting the censorship again by Facebook because we're shaking the right tree, right? So you have to do what you need to do on the outside to help us build this movement is share this. Share the video. Share the information on every platform that you have to get the education, get the information out, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan. And God bless these United States. Have a phenomenal, great day. I'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye.